Yeah, the Ellerston station is a 72,000 acre property owned by the Packer family. We were approached several years ago about donating cattle to this event in Tamworth, which has been a huge success, and so we decided to come on board. It's been great for us, it's great for our marketing of our stock. We think it's a great thing for the horse industry. It's actually turned the horse industry on its ear, I think, you know, in terms of dollars and cents and getting the horses to one area. But just touching on our cattle, as you can see here behind us, we have a predominantly Hereford base, an ironbark blood Hereford base. And what we've done then is we've put black bulls to a portion of them to get a black baldy cow, and then we put a Charolais or a shorthorn bull over that F1 cow to produce a terminal cross calf. So we keep it quite simple, that's as far as we go, and we try and get our cattle up to 500 kilos, obviously wait for age as quick as possible and move them on. We're at Toomala here, which is in our high country, but what we've done is with our soils, we've fertilised our soils and brought in New Zealand rye and clovers, and we've cleaned the country up and rolled it all so it's all accessible for super spreaders and what machinery we need, and we've broken it all down into 35 hectare rotations, having 4 paddocks per rotation. So with a mob of approximately 300 to 500 head of cattle depending on the size of the cattle in each rotation. These cattle get moved approximately every 10 days depending on feed availability and rain and weather and the time of the year. It's quite simple, we keep it very simple, but it works. Yeah, we've had some pretty good results so far, so we just need to keep it going.
And Rob, your results speak for themselves basically. Like there a few years ago we sold no fat stock or heavy stock at all off what you call in the Toomala country. These days that seems to be where all the heavy cattle, well predominantly the heavier cattle are coming from, and in big numbers. Yeah,
we've gone from, look, on this country up here, to give you an idea, is it had approximately 500 cows. That area now has 300 cows and 2,000 steers running on the same amount of country. So the stocking rate is enormous. But your inputs are big, but you've just got to have a balancing act, and you've got to get that balancing out right. That's the secret.
And you've got the 2 main ingredients. You've got the soil type, and you've got the rainfall.
And the rainfall. The rainfall's a big one. Down the below I work on 7 years out of 10 is pretty good. Up here I work on 17 out of 20. So basically that's the formula I work on. And yeah, be proactive. Yeah, be on the front foot.
Rob, your involvement with the Landmark Classic Sale and Camp Draft, obviously Landmark treasure that involvement because it's obviously it has some advantages to you in as far as it's putting your cattle out there for the marketplace.
Yeah, certainly. The cattle here behind us, these are destined for the draft up there, the Classic, and we'll take for our special draft that we're having this year in Charlie Mars Memorial. We're going to take out what we think's the lead of them and what we think will draft well, and they'll go into the young guns. And yeah, we put a bit of time into getting the cattle right and make sure that there's some big scores and everyone's happy. But I think they'll go very well myself.
It's always, yeah, your cattle have always been very much sought after for drafting, because obviously not only the breeding content of them, but your fellows you have working on the pastoral side at Ellerston, they're good stockmen. Yeah. They do all their work on horses.
On horses, yeah, correct. We have 6 stockmen that look after about 10 to 12,000 head of cattle, and everything's done on horseback. Everything's done with a horse and dog. These cattle here, there's 500 in this rotation, and it'll be moved today. Pardon me. It'll be moved today with 1 man with a dog. And at a steady pace, and as you can see the cattle, they're not spooky at all, and there's no motorbikes, it's all horse and dog, yeah.
And Rob, I've been here before at weaning time. There's a lot of time spent when you wean your calves, basically giving them the basic training. Handling. Because you're going to own the cattle for some time after weaning.
Correct. Steers and heifers, they go into a program where we yard wean, and then every day they're put out on the road and we walk them, through gateways, and then every day they go through the race and through the crush, until they're right. We put them to bed when they're right, but you know, we take as long as it takes to do the job properly.
And there just earlier you mentioned, you know, obviously the Charlie Marr Memorial Young Guns draft. There's a bit of a special spot for you.
Yeah, Charlie and I were we were very good mates, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it, to see, you know, how it goes. It'll be a great success. Everyone's you know, pumped for it, and look, we're going to do our best to get the right cattle. Yep. And then I just hope everyone goes really well in it. Yeah. Though, I'd like to acknowledge Mark Barton and all his team who run and organise this week's events. It continues to get better each year. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to Julianne, Joe, Sam, Will and Georgia, Charlie Marr's family. Also, Julianne, Charlie's mother, and Paddy, Charlie's brother. Although you all can't be here, you're in our thoughts. Last year we lost Charlie in a tragic plane accident with John Quintana, doing the job he loved. And today we remember him. Charlie was a devoted and loving father, loyal friend, dedicated horseman and a mentor to many an agent and trainer. He was also an astute businessman who could go out of his way to help a client. Charlie was known for being able to cover the miles, and to visit a client he was always in for a bit of fun. An example of this was, say Charlie was going from Bathurst to Blackall to look at a mob of cattle. He would sit up in the passenger seat and talk for the first half of the trip. He would sleep for the second half of the trip, arrive at the boundary gate where the driver and Charlie would get out of the car for a stretch. Charlie would then jump in the driver's seat, drive the 2 kilometres up to the homestead, get out and meet the owner, who would invariably comment on how well and refreshed Charlie looked after such a long drive. Charlie was a man of many ideas, usually big ideas. Now many people have ideas, but very few follow them through. Charlie did. About 9 years ago, Charlie had one of those big ideas. His vision was a horse event unlike any other in Australia. He wanted not only to have a horse sale featuring the best horses in Australia, but also to witness these horses the following year showing their ability in competition. What you see here today with the support and encouragement of Landmark is Charlie's vision come to fruition. This vision is now in its 7th year and only getting better. Landmark wanted to recognise Charlie in some way. They remembered how he loved to help young people, give them a start and rejoice in their success. It seemed only appropriate that the new event would do the same. The Young Guns is such a competition. It is for under 25s with the idea to give them the encouragement and the taste to continue competing. To wrap up, I wish everyone success in the sale ring and competition, and I hope everyone encourages and supports our young competitors, as they are the future of the horse industry. Thank you.